The Zephyrian mining colony of Kepler 442b had seen many species pass through its dusty settlements over the decades. Traders, refugees, mercenaries, all seeking fortune or fleeing misfortune among the asteroid fields. But none had prepared them for the day a single human crash-landed in the middle of their weekly market. Dr. Sarah Chen's escape pod had barely held together during atmospheric entry, leaving a smoking crater where Merchant Vextal's fruit stand once stood. The Zephyrians, with their crystalline blue skin and 4 delicate arms, watched in fascination as the strange bipedal creature stumbled out, bleeding from a head wound and speaking in an unknown language. "Please," Sarah gasped in broken galactic standard. "Ship attacked. Crew dead. Need help." Elder Chrisith, the colony's leader, felt something stir in his ancient heart. The human's eyes, those peculiar single-pupiled organs, held a pain that transcended species. Without hesitation, he ordered the colony's only medical bay prepared. For 3 weeks, the Zephyrians nursed Sarah back to health. They shared their limited food stores, taught her their customs, and listened to her stories of Earth, a blue world where billions of her kind lived in harmony despite their differences. In return, Sarah helped repair their aging water recyclers with an ingenuity that amazed her hosts. "Humans see problems differently," she explained to young Zilara, who had become fascinated with Sarah's approach to engineering. We improvise." The peaceful routine shattered when Krogor raiders descended upon the colony like vultures. The insectoid pirates had heard rumors of rare crystalline deposits and intended to strip mine the settlement. Inhabitants be damned. "Surrender the mining rights," their chieftain Thraxus clicked through his translator as his warriors surrounded the Zephyrians. "Or we'll take them from your corpses." Elder Chrisith stepped forward, his frail form trembling but resolute. "This is our home. We will not—" A plasma bolt struck him down before he could finish. The Zephyrians cried out in their musical language as their leader fell. Sarah, watching from the medical bay, felt something primal ignite within her chest. "You made a mistake," she said quietly, stepping into the square. The Krogors turned their compound eyes toward her, mandibles clicking with amusement. "One soft skin against 30 warriors." Thraxus laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "This will be entertaining." What followed was 7 minutes of chaos that would become legend among the Outer Rim colonies. Sarah moved with a fluidity that defied the Krogors' understanding of combat. She used the environment as a weapon, overloading power cells to create explosions, turning mining equipment into improvised artillery, and exploiting the raiders' hive mind mentality by targeting their communications array first. When the dust settled, Thraxus lay unconscious and his surviving warriors had fled in terror. Sarah knelt beside Elder Chrisith, but the old Zephyrian's light was already fading. Tell your people," he whispered. "Tell them, some of us. Remember kindness." Sarah held his hand as he passed, tears streaming down her face. The Zephyrians had shown her compassion when she was at her most vulnerable, and she had failed to save their leader. 3 days later, Sarah jury-rigged a long-range transmitter from the wreckage of her escape pod. Her message was simple. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen, survivor of the UES Prometheus. The Zephyrians of Kepler 442b saved my life. They need our help. Coordinates attached." She wasn't sure anyone would receive it. She wasn't even sure anyone would care. The first ship arrived 6 days later, a cargo hauler that had picked up her transmission and diverted course. Then came the medical frigates, the construction crews, the engineers. Within a month, 36 human vessels had reached the remote colony, each one bringing supplies, expertise, and determination. Captain Maria Santos of the UES Resolution stood beside Sarah as they watched human medics treat Zephyrian injuries with equipment brought from across the galaxy. "You realize we've just committed significant resources to a colony that has nothing to offer us strategically?" Santos asked. Sarah smiled, watching a human child play with young Zilara, both laughing despite the language barrier. "They saved one human when they had every reason to let me die. That tells me everything I need to know about who they are." The reconstruction took 3 months. Humans and Zephyrians worked side by side, sharing techniques and perspectives. The colony's new defensive grid could withstand anything short of a capital ship bombardment, and their water recycling system was now the most efficient in the sector. Word spread quickly through the Outer Rim. The humans had come not as conquerors or exploiters, but as friends honoring a debt. Species that had never trusted each other began reaching out to human settlements, curious about these strange beings who valued loyalty above profit. On the day of departure, new Elder Zilara, now grown and wise beyond her years, approached Sarah at the landing pad. "Why?" she asked in perfect English, a language she had learned in honor of her human friends. "Why risk so much for strangers?" Sarah looked up at the stars, thinking of home, of the crew she'd lost, of the kindness shown by crystalline beings who had never seen a human before. "Because that's what families do for each other," she said simply. "And you became our family the moment you chose to help instead of turning away." As the human fleet departed Kepler 442b, they left behind more than just upgraded infrastructure. They had planted the seeds of an alliance built on mutual respect and shared humanity. Not the species, but the quality that transcended biology. In the years that followed, the Zephyrian colonies became humanity's strongest allies, and their story became a beacon for others. Sometimes salvation came not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through the simple recognition that all sentient life deserved compassion. The galaxy was vast and often cruel, but it was also full of possibilities, and sometimes, just sometimes, saving one was enough to save them all.